Welcome everyone to my late EA press conference coverage at Gamescom 2014. I did skip it. The conference was yesterday, so I just finished rewatching the replay of the EA's press conference, and I have everything that they talked about. And I do have some news regarding the Tomb Raider exclusive info, so I'll talk about that later on in the video. And also in this video, I'm going to be discussing my final thoughts about Gamescom 2014 because I'm pretty sure there's no other conferences going on, no Nintendo and no Ubisoft or anything else like that. Of course, because it's always Microsoft and Sony and maybe EA or someone else. So maybe a couple new announcements here and there, but there's no other conferences. So let's go ahead and get started. It kicked off with I did kind of fast forward during the stream. Like I didn't watch too much of the gameplays of all the games. I was just ready. Once I saw a game and saw after 1 or 2 minutes, I was ready to see the next game. So I just fast forward through the conference very quickly. So they started off with Dragon Age Inquisition gameplay. So they played this game for about a little over 5 minutes. The gameplay looked really good. The game looks actually interesting in my opinion. I never played a Dragon Age game before. But the game will be coming out here in North America November 18th, and then for Europe November 20th. Next was the Titanfall new map pack announced called Titanfall IMC Rising, coming this fall, which will contain 3 new maps. If you guys love Titanfall and have your hands on a copy of Titanfall, you guys will be able to just look out for a new DLC coming out this fall. IMC Rising it's called, with 3 new map packs and everything. And also typically with the EA conferences, next was NHL 15. But when it comes to these EA conferences, it's always going to be your typical sports games shown, Madden NFL 15, NBA 2K15, your FIFA, typical FIFA game, and your hockey game, pretty much NHL. So next was NHL 15, so of course no surprise there. Next was The Sims 4, so I wrote down a couple of details about The Sims 4. They show actual gameplay of The Sims 4, where there's something called a created sim mode. There will be facial details where you can change the body of your sim to your liking. The new craft a personality feature is also going to be in The Sims 4, and basically your personality will just affect and depend on. It will affect how you interact with other Sims around the city and other towns and everything. And you can change your walk style. They have this build mode where you can move rooms, pretty much just customize your house, your Sims home, and you can move your rooms from left to right, and you can literally pick up your the whole entire house and move it around however you like, and position it however you want to. You can explore the town, meet other Sims in the neighborhoods, and also again the personality with the craft of personality feature in the game will determine how you interact with other Sims in your local area. So the Sims 4 Creative Sim demo is available now to play for everyone at www.thesims.com, or aka pretty much the sims.com, to create your own sim. It's a demo, and then the game will be launched. I think the official Sims 4 game will be launching. They mentioned 3 weeks away. I don't know the official date for it, but they mentioned it's 3 weeks away from launching. FIFA World was the next game, which is going to be downloadable. That's available to download on your PC and at EASportsFIFAWorld.com. So you guys can download FIFA World. Is that a next FIFA game? I think that's just going to be for PC. Who knows? Or is FIFA 15 coming out this year? Or is this just a brand new FIFA game? But again, you guys can download FIFA World on your PC at EASportsFIFAWorld.com. Star Wars: The Old Republic Galactic Strongholds was the next game right after. If you guys are into Star Wars, I only watched a couple of the movies, but I never played any of the games. I've never been that big of a fan of Star Wars. Dawngate, which was a brand new MOBA, a brand new MOBA game. Shadow Realms for PC coming out late next year, but you guys can sign up for the Shadow Realms alpha at shadowrealms.com. which is going to be coming next month. So you guys can sign up for the Shadow Realms Alpha coming out next month, and then the actual Shadow Realms games coming out late next year. Uh, and last but not least was just the Battlefield Hardline. Of course, no surprise there. Of course, I expected them to finish this conference with the Battlefield Hardline gameplay and everything. So they showed off the single player campaign. And then they announced two new multiplayer maps for esports called Hardwire, which is a high-speed chase between cops and criminals. And then the other one is called Rescue, where hostages have been taken by a team of 5 criminals, and then there's up to a squad of 5 cops to go after the hostages and rescue them. And when I think of this mode, Rescue, for Battlefield Hardline, this is pretty much, I think this is going to be search and destroy right off the bat, because they mentioned that it's going to be 1 life per round. So that immediately just reminded me of just search and destroy, your typical search and destroy game mode from Call of Duty. So I think that's what that's going to be about. So that was it for the conference. Yeah, so I don't know what else to think. Surprisingly, there was no indie games for this conference out of both Sony and Microsoft and EA. EA is the only conference that didn't show any sort of EA games whatsoever. So that was nice to see. Nothing against indie games, but this was really something I wanted to really see from both Microsoft and Sony. Just all these indie games and everything. So they're fun to play, but it just, when I honestly think about it, I think there's got to be something more to a little bit more than meets the eye when it comes to these indie games, in my honest opinion. Because maybe there's a lot of money being thrown into these indie games, and these indie games are really delivering in its fun factor and their gameplay and all that stuff. But I don't want to see all these indie games. I want to see what else is going to convince me to officially move to the next generation, because I haven't really, to be straight up with you guys, I'm not ready for the next generation yet. And after viewing this year's E3 and Gamescom, I'm still not convinced of the next generation of gaming. And there's only a couple games here and there that seems fun to play for these specific systems, like the PlayStation 4, 1 or 2 games here and there. The fact that they didn't even show Uncharted 4 or any other games, I just saw mostly indie games at Sony. Microsoft did the same thing. Microsoft had a couple highlights here and there with the Tomb Raider thing. But when it comes to that, you guys, I found something. I found this article on my phone here. And I was just kind of messing around, just scrolling on my Facebook, and I found a post from the IGN page saying the Rise of Tomb Raider may be coming out for other consoles. So who knows about this? Is Tomb Raider, the Rise of Tomb Raider, will be actually exclusive or not, or maybe just for a limited amount of time, for the Rise of Tomb Raider for Xbox One. But in all honesty, some people call it a business strategy that Microsoft is paying companies to, to get these exclusives and everything. But one thing I want to say is that where was all this little, what's up with all these butthurt fans and everything? I'm not really upset about it, and I don't even play too much of Tomb Raider. And when I think of Tomb Raider now, I just think of Uncharted, and I think Uncharted is way better than Tomb Raider in my honest opinion. But Tomb Raider might be just as good as it, but maybe Uncharted is based off like a Tomb Raider game, but just with a different plot, different story and everything like that, and different set of characters and everything like that. But I think it's going to be, probably, if it is going to be exclusive, officially exclusive to Xbox One, it's going to be Rise of Tomb Raider taking on Uncharted 4. And I just think Uncharted is the better game when it comes down to Tomb Raider and Uncharted, and just with this gameplay, story mode, graphics, and everything like that. And it's Hollywood movie graphics and all that other stuff. But I'm not really just happy about like this year's Gamescom, and I think that E3, this year's E3 was better than this year's Gamescom. So I don't know. Some people say TGS is coming up, and that's Tokyo Game Show. So I don't know. And they say Nintendo is supposed to make an appearance at Tokyo Game Show and all that other stuff. But who knows if they're gonna show anything. Like, they didn't mention Scalebound. Like, I've seen some of the comments on my video, Scalebound. Some people was talking about a God of War 4 or something like that. People wanted to see all this stuff, and I feel like most people had high expectations, as I did. But I wasn't too hyped for it, because I didn't want to just get all hyped up and be all just, down in the dumps about the conferences and stuff. But That's just how I truly feel though. And just going through back these, flipping back at some of these games and stuff. I didn't see too much of anything. I saw mostly games for just set for the indie games and stuff like that. I didn't see much of anything that really impressed me. So I mean, and I'm not too. And I talked about Advanced Warfare. I'm not really impressed with that either. I don't know what that's going to be like, and who knows? I think it's honestly better than Ghost, just to talk about that too, because I do that in my playlist too for this Gamescom. But I don't think that's going to be all that, and we won't know until we really play the game. But I don't know. Just this Gamescom is just, I don't know. It's just not impressed. I'm not impressed with anything. So just flipping back. Um, on Microsoft's side, I liked Quantum Break. I like Quantum Break. The gameplay was good. That game looks really good. And if I were to get an Xbox One, I would definitely pick up Quantum Break because that game looks really good from the gameplay and very fun to play. But just those typical highlights in that Tomb Raider. But again, with the Tomb Raider news just being suddenly just the possibility just going to other consoles. Some people call it a business strategy that Microsoft's doing that. Some people think it's unfair and they think it's just them being desperate, and I agree with that. And I think it's their way of being money whores, and I guess people will do anything for money nowadays. So that's just the honest truth. People are money hungry, and people will just do anything for money. So it just comes down to that. But then again,